Okay, so I could not help but come upstairs and make an impromptu video about this election coming up. I feel the need to just share my opinion, and one of my opinions is going to be very unpopular because I believe that you should not vote if you are an American and part of the US election. And I feel like I can comment on this because my partner is from the US and I, might potentially marry him and become a US citizen. Who knows? With the state of how the US looks like, I would not really want to. I don't know who would really want to be an American citizen right now during these times. But nevertheless, I feel like I have some right to speak on it. And here are my 2 cents. When it comes to American elections, when it comes to even Canadian elections, I am Canadian. And I think the biggest issue that we all face, especially being Canadian or American, is dealing with this two-party systems. And the reason why I say this is that when people don't understand how politics works, this is how politicians can manipulate us and control us and all the issues that we see today, right? Where we feel like the wealthy are getting wealthier and governments are looking out for corporations instead of individual interests. And many people have an issue with voting and don't want to vote and complain about politics and how blah, blah, blah. I understand. It's very tiring. It's exhausting to have people promise you things every 4 years or however it works in your country and to not deliver. But politics is equally as important to still uphold because we need to have systems in place to govern. If we had nobody governing any of us, it would be total chaos, right? It's like raising a child, or not raising a child, really, just having a child and like the child having no parents or no guardian or nothing. It would just be complete haywire. The child would not know how to take care of itself. It wouldn't know wrong from right. It would have no direction. It would have no organization. And that's exactly what politics is. It is a body of people that govern. It could be an individual that governs, or it could be a body that governs other people, because we need to create systems. We need to create systems of organization. And without it, it would be complete chaos. So if you are not paying attention to politics, and if you claim you do not care about politics, you are the problem. Because the only way to change existing systems is to vote for new systems in place. And that goes to my second part. An issue is that because people don't understand how politics works and how these systems work, we get overwhelmed and then we don't make any decision at all, or we make the wrong decisions. And so time and time again, the issue that I see is that people believe that there are only two parties and that there is no one else to vote for. In Canada, I see this all the time. I'm getting confused with the American and the Canadian system. Let's just focus on the American. We focus on the Republican or the Democrat. But there are other parties. There's the Green Party, there's independent parties, there's like other parties, Communist Party, whatever fucking parties are out there, progressive parties. There are different parties out there, but people don't take the time to educate themselves on what these different parties stand for. And just the fact that there's more than two fucking parties. It just blows me away that people fail to do their due diligence and do their own research and look at what other options are out there instead of the same fucking two colors all the time. Same thing in Canada, the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party. Hey, it came back to me. Same shit. There's the Green Party, there's the NDP, there's so many other parties, but people feel like they have to just vote for the same two parties. one of the reasons is that people vote based on family ties. So if your family has been voting one party for their whole lives, you feel this need to keep up traditions, family traditions, and vote for the same party, even if you do not believe in everything or most of the things that a party stands for. There are people who don't agree with anything that a party might actually stand for, but because of the cover, because of the color, they still go ahead and vote. Like sheep, to be honest. I'm sorry to call people that if that's how you do it, but you are a sheep. You are just voting just based on how someone else votes. You want to feel validated being a part of your family or among your social circle, so you just vote for whoever closest to you is voting for. Horrible way to vote. Horrible way to vote. Then you have people that vote just based on social norms. So, and also cultural norms too, and understanding. So me being a racialized woman, a Black woman, I've been told my whole life that voting conservative would be bad for someone like me because they are racist. And there are all these things, which in general, all these parties have racist origins if you think about it. We're all immigrants, most of us, especially if you're racialized, we are all immigrants to these countries. And country wasn't really ours to begin with. So I feel like any of these political parties and systems, if they are not run or initiated and institutionalized by indigenous people, it's fucking racist in origin. So you voting for liberals, Democrat, whatever the fuck it may be, it still has racist origins. So that in itself is kind of a lie. And you can find racism within any system or any party if you really look hard enough. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has rocked blackface more than once. And for some reason, people still decide to give him a pass because they're so scared of the Conservative Party winning. Conservatives are racist, they're not for people. But then the Prime Minister of the Liberal Party literally is mocking Black people. So it's like, it's so crazy, these stories that we tell ourselves about certain parties that are not true, when really what we should be looking at is the facts and what these parties are promising us. And looking at history, historically, how have they performed? For certain races, for certain cultures, for certain religious sects, whatever values you have, however you identify, you should be looking to see how past parties have performed for your people. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not indicative of how they're gonna perform for you in the future, but it can be very telling. And I think it's information that you definitely should keep in mind. So with that being said, two-party system, you do not have to vote for the same two parties, but for some reason, people continue to do so. And another big reason why people do that is because of fear-mongering and this fear that if I don't vote for one party, the other party is going to win. This is the worst thing that we can preach to others on such a large level, on such a collective level, because it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. And nobody is going to want to step out of their comfort zone and vote for a third party. Do you know how many times in Canada, when I've spoken with friends, other young people, my generation, and a lot of them actually like the NDP. But a lot of the big reason why they would not vote for NDP is because they're scared that the Conservatives are gonna win. And so they end up having to vote for Trudeau or feel like they have to vote for the Liberal Party. Same thing with this upcoming election, Kamala and Trump. Literally, the election is tomorrow. I am making this video a day before, because I don't know if it's going to, I'm not trying to change people's opinions on like how they want to vote, but I think it's a bit too late. Definitely should not have done this a day before if that was the intention. But I just want people to just be more mindful, especially for future elections down the road, like really taking the time to understand how these systems work. And same thing in the States with Kamala and Trump. A lot of people don't like Kamala, but they feel like, well, I sure as hell don't want Trump. And so you're just voting based on the lesser two evils. But you shouldn't have to vote based on the lesser two evils. You should be able to vote and feel confident and happy about who you are voting for. And it's so crazy that people have to limit themselves and their beliefs and what they value because someone else is telling them that someone else is going to win. The fear, I'm a coach, right? And I talk a lot about mindset. I empower a lot of women and teach them frameworks around building a positive and optimistic mindset and shifting from a scarcity mindset from one to abundant. And when I think about scarcity mindset when it comes to politics, that is exactly what that is. It is the idea that I am so scared of what is the worst that's going to happen instead of focusing on the best situation possible that could happen. And the best situation possible that could happen is that we actually all decide that fuck these two parties, let's actually vote for another party and give another party a chance, or let's actually vote for an independent. So this, I hope I'm putting someone on game because this is so important. I've read Bernie Sanders' books. I love Bernie Sanders, and one of the reasons why I love him is that he is an independent. He ran under the party of the Democrats, but he is actually, as a senator, he's an independent, so he does not take any sides. And I think that is such valuable information because there are so many people who would run independent, but they feel like they can't because no one's going to pay attention to them. And another issue is that if you vote for, not really an issue, it's actually something that can solve the problem, but if you vote for someone who's independent, they are less likely to be politically and financially tied to wealthy corporations and donors. And this is one of the biggest issues that we see with elections. People like Kamala Harris, who is backed by wealthy people, and her campaign is run by wealthy people. And we're talking investment bankers, like people who are working on Wall Street pretty much are backing her. You still also have people who are working on Wall Street or just wealthy billionaires like Elon Musk who are also going to support Trump. So regardless, the issue is that you have wealthy people driving the vote. It is not everyday people like you and me that are driving the vote. Money is power, and our little votes is nothing compared to someone donating $1 million to Trump's campaign. Trump is going to prioritize that person's wishes over the general population. So the only person that I would trust to run for me in office would be someone who has a grassroots upbringing. Someone like Bernie Sanders had a grassroots upbringing. Yes, he is somewhat wealthy, he's affiliated with other political people, but he did not take large money from wealthy corporations and donors. He refused to. Maybe a little bit down his campaign, maybe eventually he did, but a lot of the money that he made from me reading his book, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the money that he made was from younger voters who donated minimum of $5. If you combine all that money all together, that is what drove majority of his growth in the beginning. It was young people turning out and finally saying, you know what, I believe in something. I'm actually gonna put in money towards this person's campaign because I believe that their voice matters. I want them to rally. I want them to spread their message across as many states as possible and get the word out about how they are going to promise change, real change in our countries. And I think people need to start voting in that way. We need to start actually looking at other options outside of these two-party systems, or even focusing on independents that genuinely are not running their campaigns based on big corporations. They're not backed by big corporations and big wealthy donors. They are backed by everyday people like you and me donating whatever small change. There's more to it. There's more that we can do, but it would take a lot. It would take a lot of us to advocate for real systemic changes, especially policy changes when it comes to running elections. For example, I don't believe that people should be able to donate $1 million towards a campaign. I do not believe that Elon Musk should be able to donate millions of dollars towards Trump. Why? Why is he doing that? Why is he trying to turn the votes into his favor over the general population? Nobody has the money that, most people don't have the money that Elon Musk has. So that is such a disadvantage to the rest of us. So some solutions, I read a book called After Capitalism by David Schwartz, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would definitely read that book, and he provides actual solutions. He's not one of those people that just talks about all the issues and the problems and doesn't come up with solutions. And one of the solutions that he has made or suggested is to have a cap on how much money someone can donate towards a political party. That's a big one. So no longer will you have people being able to donate millions and millions of dollars towards a campaign. So you can cap it, or you can give everyone a maximum amount, like $25. So like everybody has a maximum amount. It's not like this cap for just select people at certain wealth levels. Everybody, no matter if you're a billionaire or you're homeless on the street, everyone is maximum allowed to donate a certain amount of money, $25, $50, whatever that may be. That is fair, because in that circumstance, everyone's vote does matter, because we're actually voting on an equal playing field, economic playing field. Or what we can do is get rid of donating to people's campaigns altogether and make it tax funded. So people's taxes would go towards running these elections and allowing for these different political parties to run their campaigns. And everyone just has a ballot, a vote. So what we're already doing, but there's just no money behind the campaigns that lead up to that election day. So Elon Musk would not be able to give money to Trump. It's just he has that same vote as everyone else. He has to go to the ballot box and just vote. That's it. That's it. That's it. Even making small changes like that wouldn't even be bad in a two-party system, because I feel like it would still be much more of a fair election. So the two-party system is not even too much of the problem. It's the way in which we are able to vote and the unfair advantages that are part of that process that some people, wealthier people, have access to that others don't, which create this unfair election, and which is why we have these people go into power and we realize they don't do anything for us at the end of the day, because they're always going to prioritize the interest of the elites, of the wealthy, over everyday citizens. And until everybody wakes the F up, it is going to continue happening. So I hope I just never have to make a video like this again. And I just hope that this video speaks to someone, and that we really take the time to understand what the hell we're doing. When you make decisions out of ignorance, this is what happens. We make a fool out of ourselves. And I'm gonna be the first to say, like, everybody, to me, this party affiliation shit is bullshit, because we all want the same things. When it comes down to it, we all want the same things. We want access to basic health care. We want access to good education. We want to be able to put food on the table. Literally Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't understand why this is so hard for everyone to get together and understand. We're creating an illusion that doesn't really exist. We all want the same things. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, if you're fucking Democrat, we all want the same things. If you really think about it at the end of the day. Yes, you get into social issues and but where all the money should be going, taxpayers' money should be going, is towards the essentials. Because no matter if you're gay or straight or Muslim, Christian, atheist, wealthy or not wealthy, we all want to put food on the table. We all want a roof over our head. We all want clothes on our back, on our feet. We all want access to education. We all want to be able to have access to affordable childcare. We want to be taken care of. We want to take care of each other. We want to make sure that everyone is taken care of so we can all thrive. And we are forgetting that. We are forgetting that. Anyways, I rest my case. This is like probably going to be one of my first rants on this YouTube channel, but I feel like the stakes are so high right now. Like there's so much emotional tension and overwhelm, especially in the States. Canada, we have our election next year. And like, I'm just so fed up with the fear mongering. I'm just so fed up with people just not understanding how fucking politics works. And if we all took the time to just even watch a video like this, educate ourselves on like how these people get into power, we would have the power. We would realize that we are the ones that have the power. They don't have the power. We have the power. The everyday person, we have the power. This is why people tell you to go out and vote, but we're still not voting for the right people. We're not voting. We're voting out of fear. We're not voting out of love and bravery and courage. To vote for some of the other options out there that can't make, their voices can't be heard because we're not letting them. We continue to have these two parties filtrating social media spaces, filtrating the communication space when election time comes. And we're not doing our due diligence to listen to others. Listen to other people who genuinely care about individuals, who genuinely care about the collective. And are not out it for money, they're not power hungry, it's not an ego trip. We don't have to settle. We do not have to settle, guys. Stop thinking that you have to settle. Stop letting other people put fear into you. If we never start voting for third-party options, nothing is ever going to change. And we're gonna keep voting for the same two parties that are gonna continue failing us time and time and time again. We need to be voting based on the individual, not on parties. We need to be voting based on our values and our beliefs, not to fit in with the in crowd and trends and what everyone is saying, who everyone in your circles is saying you should be voting for. We need to start learning how to think for ourselves. This is the age of Aquarius, guys. There's so much information out there. There's no excuse. There are no excuses anymore on being stupid. There are no more excuses anymore on being ignorant. If you want change, you need to be very intentional about what you are doing, how you are voting, and understanding the voting process, understanding the systems in which we live in, understanding how politics works. Please do the due diligence, guys. I'm praying for America tomorrow. I feel like y'all lost regardless. Same here in Canada next year. If I have to deal with the same two people running the race to be prime minister, we're gonna lose too as a country. We really need to get our head out of the fucking gutter. We need to do better. And we need to take back our power as a collective.